Valley Water District Board of Directors to order.
Sounds familiar.
Are we doing this again?
Last time.
Can we conduct a roll call, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Director Bennett,
Here.
Director Jenkins,
Present.
Director Young,
Present.
Vice President Garcia,
Present.
President Moore.
Present.
All more members are present, and we have a quorum.
Thank you. Have any approval for any board members' requests for remote participation?
No, because they're all here.
Thank you.
President.
We have no requests tonight. Director Young, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Join with me. Ready? Begin.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And do we have someone on the line for prayer? Pastor Marlon? Pastor Marlon Jackson?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm trying to turn this volume down.
Okay.
Got echo. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Am I okay to start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Father God, we come before your presence now and pray for the West Valley Water District Board meeting. Pray for each board member as they make decisions that affect the cities that they serve water to. We ask you to bless them now as they continue on the agenda. And we give you praise for an opportunity to pray. We thank you now in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to go into closed session.
But before we do, we need to let the members of the public know that they can participate by giving comment in one of four ways: in person at West Valley Water District Boardroom located at 855 West Baseline Road in Real 6, or by joining the Zoom meeting with access code 840-293-7790, or via telephone by calling 888-475-4499 with the same access code. And lastly, by email to wvwd.org.
Okay. Have any public comments been received?
I do not see any.
Is there anyone on Zoom who'd like to speak? Please raise your hand. Seeing none?
We have one.
Oh, we do?
And just to be clear, this is for the closed session item. There will also be public comment for the regular agenda if the person would like to speak on that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry. I did want to make a public comment, but I'm not sure if now is the time or if it's later.
I believe probably the best is for the general public comment right after the closed session.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Ready to go closed session.
Okay.
Hello. I just want to test the audio. Can everyone on the Zoom hear me okay?
Yes.
Jamie, can you say something?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, that should be
Great.
good enough. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Back in session.
And so we
General
met in
counsel.
closed session under 54957. There was no reportable action pursuant to the Brown Act.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
President Moore, would you like to call for a motion to adopt the agenda?
Yes, I would like to call for a motion to adopt the agenda. Thank you.
I'll make the motion, we adopt the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Can we have a count?
Count.
Roll call, please.
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Public comment is now open again.
So members of the public may participate and give public comment in one of four ways: in person at the West Valley Water District Boardroom, located at 855 West Baseline Road, Rialto 92376, or by joining the Zoom meeting with access code 840-293-7790, or by telephone by calling 888-475-4499 with the same access code, or lastly by email at administration@wvwd.org.
Okay. Have any public comments been received?
I don't see any, but we have one raised hand.
Okay. Let's hear from Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Lee.
Hi, thank you, everyone. It's good evening there. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My name is, I'm a little nervous. I've never spoken at one of these before, so forgive me. My name is Wilson Lee. I'm the owner of a financial planning firm, Parallax Wealth Management. And my comment today is related to business matter item number 2, the contract of Schuster 457 and 418 plan there. I have a independent firm, Parallax Wealth Management. We've actually been servicing the part of the plan there at West Valley District for probably over 20 years. And as you guys probably already know, the plan had 2 record keepers. It had Lincoln and Nationwide. And we serviced the Lincoln portion of that plan. And we serviced it sort of in 2 ways. We did it at the participant level by providing regular education and one-on-one meetings with participants to, review their accounts, make sure that they're saving enough, answer any questions, and review their asset allocations. And then we also supported them at the plan sponsor level by conducting annual reviews, making sure that, the plan was kept, or the plan document was kept compliant. We also, helped them add the Roth deferral there. We helped them set up the 401A plan. And as a part of that review process, and we've probably been doing reviews there for 10 or 15 years, as part of that review process, we had started recommending that they look for fiduciary coverage, which we are going to help them get. And then also, at least for the Lincoln portion of the plan, that they consider moving that plan because we knew that it was an old plan, it was an expensive plan, and that there was a host of other fiduciary and administrative benefits that came along with upgrading that plan. And then several years ago, we mentioned that they should consider consolidating the plan, and that we could help in that process of obtaining bids and getting quotes from different providers, and that we would then present that to them. But unfortunately, for some reason, we were never afforded that opportunity. Like I said, we have been there for about 20 years, and I had made multiple attempts at both improving the plan throughout the years. Again, we've been having this, I started this conversation probably over 10 years ago with, the leadership at the time. And then with the current leadership had made multiple requests for the opportunity to essentially present and have the opportunity to do the work that Schuster was doing. And so ultimately what happened is, again, after faithfully serving this organization for over 20 years, for some reason, my request for a meeting and presentation were never acknowledged, or I was never given the opportunity to present our case. Meanwhile, Schuster Group essentially came in and got a no-compete contract for whatever reason. I can think, I don't know if it was personal relationships or what have you, but I was not. And, again, this is probably the second or third time this is happening to me. And so I finally felt like I should probably speak up. And really, this was done at the urging of a participant or a few participants there at West Valley Water District who saw it happening as well, who have all been super happy with our service. And so that's what I am speaking on today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any more public comments?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Mr. President, I have a question. In light of this statement from Mr. Lee, and I know we have before us a business matter number 2, do we pause and do this again, or do we just move forward? We have, okay.
So-
Oh, okay.
I think we're going to address this during the business item too.
Right, so, staff can respond to the
Yeah.
questions
Okay.
and concerns at the time that the item comes up.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we'll go into the presentation on groundwater. And I think Linda's doing that.
Good evening, President Moore, members of the board, staff, and public. Today, I'll just give you a brief update on the Rialto groundwater basin, as the board has requested an update. So just to give you a little bit of background, this is a map of our service area and the groundwater aquifers or groundwater basins that we have the ability to pump from. And you'll see, if you click one more time, please. That area is the Rialto Basin. And if you click a couple more times, that's where we are right now in the red square. And above and below us are the cactus basins. So I'll be touching on that too. Next slide, please. So the Rialto Basin is by the 61 decree, which established the framework for managing the water extraction from the basin to require sustainable levels in the basin. There are 4 entities parties to that. One is the City of Colton, City of Rialto, Fontana Water Company, and West Valley Water District. The decree also outlines the limits that each agency has water rights to and a method by which water levels are to be measured. Recently, there was a settlement agreement from 2018-2019 due to some overpumping within the basin. And because of that, the parties established a groundwater council. After 1 year after the settlement, the council was created. The Rialto Groundwater Council is made up of elected officials from those 4 agencies. Our official representing us is Director Young, and he's also been elected the chair of the group. There's also a technical advisory committee, which is made up of staff that reviews information and provides it to the council for their action. The parties develop, adopt, and implement a sustainable groundwater management plan, which is what we're working on currently, and our main focus is groundwater recharge. Next slide, please. This diagram shows the groundwater levels in the basin. From 63, a little small, until present. The blue line is the water levels. And as you can see at the end, if you click again, right there at the bottom, one more time, is 50% reduction because of the water levels. So our water rights, we can only pump 50% of those right now because groundwater levels are so low. It won't go any lower. Groundwater levels will go lower if nothing is done, but our water extractions will remain at 50%. So the main goal here is to see how we can improve water levels in the basin. Next slide. So there's very little natural recharge for the Rialto Basin. The only meaningful spot is at the Cactus Basins, which are in front and behind the district here. And those are owned by the San Bernardino County Flood Control. And Valley District would like to utilize those basins for groundwater recharge with State Water Project on behalf of those entities. But there are some concerns with the county regarding water quality impacts due to that groundwater recharge. So because of that, they formed, the next slide please, the Cactus Basin. So, or Cactus Basin tag. Originally, the San Bernardino County and Valley District signed a memorandum of understanding to develop and address those water quality concerns that the county has, and that the parties work together cooperatively to make recharge efforts. They formed the Cactus Basin tag, and this tag is led by a facilitator, a third-party entity who has no issues with the basin, their independent judgment. But it includes the stakeholders, including Valley District, San Bernardino County Solid Waste Management. They have concerns because of the landfill north of us, San Bernardino County Flood Control because they're the owners of the basin, EPA, the water board, there's various consultants, and also the tag member agencies. So they're also represented at these meetings. The goal is to develop an adaptive management plan for groundwater recharge to find a way where everybody is on board with the methods, the means, and the way of monitoring how groundwater recharge would happen in the basin. So one of the things they've done is formed a modeling technical subgroup to look at the models and how recharge in the basin would occur and if it would be any impact to existing remedies that are ongoing. We've had 4 meetings. Today was the 4th meeting. They're reviewing the 4 models that are currently in existence to see how all of those respond to 7,000 acre-feet of water recharge annually. You'll be hearing more about that in Rocky's update later, but I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Wow. That was rich.
That was a lot in
That's a
few
lot.
slides.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
So, can we go back to that the graph? There you go. 2 questions. When you say that we're only pumping 50%, is it 50% of our allocation that we get?
Yes, 50% of our water rights.
Okay, and I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but what are we doing for recharge?
Currently, there is no recharge in the basin, and the only meaningful spot, because it's a large area, I don't know if you've looked at those basins, this is the prime location to do recharge. There are some small little places. There is some natural recharge, but it's very, very little.
And so what's the plan?
So the plan is to work with the county, Valley District, all of the other agencies, EPA, so that we come up with a plan that everybody agrees on, everybody feels comfortable with, so that we can recharge state project water. Currently, right now, from the settlement agreement, Fontana Water Company is required to recharge 61,000 acre-feet of water. They've already paid over $12 million to Valley District to purchase that water. We just need a place to put it.
Okay, so if they're paying San Bernardino Valley for that water, why would we not just put them into the basin for recharge?
Because the basins are owned by the San Bernardino County Flood Control, and they own and operate the basins, and we need to get their approval to do so.
Even though that it's in our service area?
Yes.
A delicate dance.
Yeah, and if I could just chime in too, I think some of you may remember that, probably about a year and a half ago, Dan and myself met with Supervisor Baca on this very issue of the cactus basins, and John and myself attended a meeting with the supervisor and all the parties. So really want to say kudos to Supervisor Baca for meeting with us and helping champion our progress. But yeah, ultimately we got to get access to those basins, and it's just figuring out a way to do so in a way that alleviates the concerns of flood control within the county, so that we can come to an agreement to use those basins, because as Linda indicated, it's pretty much the only viable option we have for recharge. Now, part of the reason why we wanted to have the presentation, and thank you, Linda, for putting this together, is that the council is anticipating the draft of the management plan to be coming forward in January. And if we approve it at that level, it would then go to all the agencies, including us, for review and approval. So wanted to make you all aware of kind of the history of what's going on and that we're working on this management plan. But even in the management plan itself, it all hinges on the idea of getting these basins into operation. So it still very much is a little bit of uncertainty, but we're trying to come up with a plan so that we are ready to move forward as the 4 agencies once we can get something worked out with the county.
And we're currently working with the county as part of the Cactus Basin Tag to answer any questions they have and make sure they feel comfortable with what the plan is, and that it would not impact any of the perchlorate plumes or redirect it into an area that it's currently not, and just make sure all of their concerns are met.
Okay. So we're in constant communication with flood control, right?
So we have a Cactus Basin Tag, which
Okay.
is made up of flood control, the county, Valley District,
Okay.
all of the RBGC agencies, EPA, the Water Board. Everybody is at those meetings and participates.
Okay. So, gotta find some way to make it palatable, huh? Okay. All right. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you for that presentation.
Learned a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
On to consent calendar. Going to consent. Does anyone wish to pull or comment on any consent calendar items? Seeing none, can I get a motion on the consent calendar items?
I'll make the motion that we adopt the consent calendar.
I'll second that motion.
Have a vote, madam?
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins, Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Lost that one right there. Okay.
President Moore, shall we
Yes.
pass on to business matters?
Yes.
Here.
Oh, okay, yes. A CFO will be presenting this item.
All right. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. I am excited to present to you this year's annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal years ended June 30th, 2025 and 2024. I'm happy to say we've completed our audit, and we have our auditors for this year, the Poon Group. We have Sophia Koo and Mark Hu. that will give you a short presentation on the audit results for this year. Sophia?
Thank you, Jose. Good evening, President and board members, and also the management. This is Sophia Ko from the Pern Group. Hope you guys can hear me okay. And I'm the engagement partner for the district fiscal year ended June 30th and 24 annual audits. Along with me, I also have Mark Hu, who is our engagement manager, and he's also on the line. We will we'll be presenting a short presentation, and then also we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have throughout the audit. Throughout the presentation. Sorry about that. Next page. So what I will go through tonight includes the required communication, overview financial statements, financial highlights, and then our other results. Next page. Thank you. So in accordance with professional standard, there are certain required communications to be made with those charged with governance. We determined that the board of directors are those charged with governance, so this is why we are here tonight. So we have complied all the ethical and independence requirements throughout the whole entire audit. The management has disclosed all the significant accounting policies in the note 1 to the basic financial statements. In order to prepare financial statement, management also made some significant estimates, which including investment reported at fair market value, capital asset depreciation, pension OPEB based on the actual revaluation, as well as compensate absences, which is a new thing this year due to the GASB 101 implementation. And there are some sensitive disclosures that we also highly recommend the reader to read through that. That includes pension and OPEB, and also commitment contingencies, and also the restatement due to the GASB 101 implementation. And there were no material misstatements, and to the best of our knowledge, there were no consultation with other accountants related to accounting matters or other procedures that we performed. And we encountered no significant difficulties and also no disagreement with the management. Next page, please. So now move on to the overview of financial statements and then some financial highlights. Next page, please. So the first set of financial statement is the statement of net possession as of June 30, 2025 and compared to June 30, 2024. The total assets went up from $324 million to $361.6 million, which was an 11% increase. And then the deferred outflow of resources that came from pension, OPEB, and then also the loss on refunding that went from $7.4 million to $6.8 million. The liability went from $77.7 to $102 million. And the deferred inflow of resources that came from pension, OPEB, and also leases that went from $6.7 million to $5.2 million. The net possession, which is the district's equity, ended with $261 million, which was an increase of $13.8 million. Overall, it's a 6% increase compared last year to current fiscal year. Next page. Now I will move on to the statement of revenues, expenses, and change in net possession, which is the income statement. In 2025, the operating revenue ended with $34.6 million. Net with operating expenses, the operating loss was $6.8 million. However, the district also had the non-operating revenues and also capital contribution. The overall increase of net possession was $13.8 million, which was a 6% increase compared to last year. Next page, please. So here are some financial highlights for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. The net possession restricted portion increased from $29.2 million to $57 million. The unrestricted net possession represents more than 150% of the operating expenses. That means if anything happens, the district was still able to use the unrestricted net possession to cover the operating expenses, which means the reserve is sufficient. And then the total cash inflows over the outflows by $15.5 million. The district's capital assets increased by $22 million. The pension liability remained pretty flat. The OPEB liability increased a little bit by $1.1 million. Next page, please. So I will bring to our other result. Next. So we are happy to say that we issue a modified opinion, which is the best opinion that a CPA firm can render. That also known as a clean opinion. Everything is looks good, and also the financial statement are fairly presented in all material respect. We did not have any disagreement with the management. We did not have any reportable weaknesses or deficiencies to report, and also we did not notice any accounting issues. So before concluding, I would like to take a small moment to thank the district's finance team for their time, cooperation, and also support throughout the whole entire audit process. The audit process is really, really lengthy, from the interim field work to the year-end validation and reporting phase, and then finally bring to the audit presentation right now. And we truly appreciate the and also support beyond their daily operation. And we also value the partnership with the district. This will conclude our presentation for today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Sophia's Director Jenkins, I'd like to first thank you for your presentation and ask that in the overall position, you would say that West Valley has been fiscally responsible and we've done a pretty good job at managing our funds.
Based on the financial statement result, yes, the fund balance has been
And
growing.
probably the CFO, Jose Velasquez, and his team has managed our funds as well, pretty well.
Yes, and then also to really make our audit really smoothly and easy, and then to bring to the board before the end of the year.
And President Moore, I'd like to thank Jose and his team for doing such a fantastic job. Both Director Garcia and I, Vice President Garcia and I sit on the same committee, and we've seen the numbers and have been very impressed thus far.
I do have a question, Sophia. If we can go to slide 23. Could you just elaborate a little more on the OPEB liability increase of 1.1 million?
Sure. So the OPEB liability is really purely estimate from actuary. The current year increase is actually came from the interest that they add on from prior year OPEB liability, and also the current year service cost that the employee has earned during the year, and also some changes due to the expected experiences. So they might expect people like live longer or shorter, and then the actual experience came out differently. So that's why if the OPEB liability fluctuates from year to year, and then this year it's increased a little bit.
If I may, I'll put it in simpler terms, Sophia. So every 2 years, the district has to do an actuarial of our benefits for a long term. So as you know, health insurances has been increasing dramatically since COVID. So every time we do the 2-year actuary, the cost for that typically increases. The other thing that it also increases is because if the trust doesn't perform as projected, then there's a downfall on that. So that's why it increases. So our financial statements have to report our liability for the OPEB, and it's a moving target. But we're hopeful that over the years, the interest catches up. And as we're doing our one-time payment every year, as you see in our budget, we'll get to about 80 to 90%, and then we'll let the interest basically catch the rest. So that's the target for the OPEB. Hopefully that explains it.
So let me ask it now that you've done in simpler terms. So in the past 2 years, we've had to pay 1.1 increase, 1.1 million in increase for the OPEB for health insurance. Is that what you're saying?
No. So the liability overall for the life of the employees from last year to this year, it increased $1.1 million.
And we had to pay for that.
It's in our books, so it's not cash going out. It's just a liability in our books going forward.
Okay. And just one last question. If Sophia could just elaborate how she did the audit, like was it just like one like, what did you ask for? Because I know there's a lot of statements to conduct this audit.
Sure. So again, before I conclude, so the audit is actually is a really pretty lengthy process. So from our planning and the interim field work, and then we request a bunch of request documents like your check registers, your payroll registers, and your cash receipts, and then we pick samples from there, and then that's interim field work with, and then once, so the first of all, the district need to provide our initial provided by client list, and then we will pick samples from there, and then they need to provide the supporting documents for us to validate whether the transaction is valid or not, and that's the internal control phase, which we usually conduct it during spring and summertime. And then for year-end validation, when they give us the trial balance after they close the book, they book all the accruals and the capital assets. They give us the trial balance. Then we do validation. We pick samples again from there, and then the district will provide support to us. And then we move on to the reporting phase based on the trial balance provided, and they are all going back and forth to make sure the financial presentation ties to the trial balance, and then also making sure that disclosures are properly supported. And it really takes a lot going back and forth, reviewing, and then the management team's time efforts.
Thank you.
I hope this explained, answer the question.
You did. Thank you.
And if I might add, I want to thank the Poon Group and my finance team led by Gustavo. They did an amazing job to finish the audit within before December 31st. And we will be submitting it like we have in the past. We've received the Certificate of Achievement through JFOA for 13 consecutive years, and we hope to get this report to them, and it'll be the 14th consecutive year as well. And we're also completing our PAFR, which is our Popular's annual financial report that we will be submitting, and part of the Triple Crown that we so enjoy boasting about. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions on this item? Can I get a motion?
So the motion, if I may, Mr. President, the motion would be to receive and file the attached annual comprehensive for fiscal years ended June 30, 2025 and 2024.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to accept staff's recommendation to receive and file the attached annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal years which ended June 30th, 2025 and 2024.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Let's call for a vote.
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Okay. Next, our HR risk manager will be presenting.
Yeah, Haiti, if you'll please lead the presentation on this business item.
Okay. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and board members. Tonight's item is a continuation of work that began in 2022 when providers were interviewed regarding potential improvements to the district's retirement plans. Due to the management transitions, the process was delayed, but leadership is now aligned and ready to move forward. All 5 board members have already been presented the information either through committee discussions or individual meetings. As you were informed, the district has a fiduciary obligation to ensure that both the 457B and 401A plans comply with all legal requirements. This action is required to maintain compliance and protect the interest of employees participating in these plans. As fiduciaries, the board and district leadership must act prudently and in the best interest of plan participants. Current provider arrangements were reviewed and compared against industry standards. The proposed changes will lower participant fees, provide a higher level of service and support, offer a comparable or improved investment menu. These improvements directly benefit employees and strengthen the district's compliance posture. Each board member, through their respective committees, have had the opportunity to review the information in advance and get a detailed presentation about the findings. Tonight's presentation consolidates those discussions and provides the formal opportunity for the board action. I want to reiterate that this is not simply an enhancement, but it is a necessary compliance action to meet fiduciary obligations that we are not currently adhering to. The proposed investments will ensure that the district's retirement plans remain legally sound, financially competitive, and supportive of employee well-being. Staff recommends approval of the proposed changes as outlined in the staff report, which is 1, approve and authorize the general manager to execute a professional service agreement with Schuster Advisory Group LLC for defined contribution plan consulting and investment fiduciary services. Approve the consolidation of the 457B and 401A record-keeping services to a single provider, Mission Square. Authorize the general manager to execute the necessary service provider agreements related to the administration of the defined contribution plan, and appoint either the HR, risk manager, or the CFO as the contract administrator for the district's 457B and 401A defined contribution plans. There is no direct fiscal impact to the district, as the fee for the services is $1,000 a month that is paid by the plan assets. That concludes my report.
Okay. Are there any questions on this item?
Can we address the public
Yeah.
comment, maybe?
Yeah, there's some detail in the staff report, but Haiti, I wonder if you could go over the RFI and RFP process that resulted in the selection of Schuster.
Okay, so back in 2022, we started this process with Schuster and another provider that came to us with proposed results. The better option was presented by Schuster. We paused because leadership changed in 2022. CFO Fox and then Finance Director Velasquez were part of the initial process back then. Then we had to pause because the GM, which is now John, had just come into his position, and we weren't ready to present this change at that time. Then CFO Fox retired, CFO Velasquez came back. CFO Velasquez and I came to the conclusion that we needed to address this item again because we were out of compliance, and contacted Schuster. They updated and amended the numbers to real-time numbers. And again, just based on the information that's being presented, the recommendation is to go with Schuster because, again, the presentation that was provided to all committees and then to Board Member Young, it makes sense based on the numbers and how the platforms that are being presented do work in the best interest of all employees. I believe that the fiduciary responsibility that we have is to look at these plans periodically. And yes, we had not looked at them or even established whether we were in compliance when we learned of this. And the way I learned of it is I worked for other agencies that had the same issue with their 457 plans. And we go out and look for the RFIs, get that information, and hands down, when you look at the numbers, the best selection is what we are bringing forward to you tonight.
And the selection process meets our purchasing policies.
I believe so. I mean, yes.
Can you maybe clarify exactly what the timelines were as far as the those processes, since it seems like there's some feeling that it wasn't either done properly or were responded to?
Well, I think where I have a little bit of angst is that the Lincoln provider is part of this RFP process, so is Nationwide. And when you look at the numbers, neither one are the top three. Lincoln is number 10 in the results, and Nationwide is number 9. So again, we're tasked with our due diligence to select the best platform and the best selection for our employees. Because again, as a fiduciary responsibility, we are tasked with ensuring that our employees' money is working in their best interest.
Thank you for clarifying that. I did have one other question, if I may. I know that they presented to staff. What general feelings have we gone back as far as is the staff pretty much supportive of this? Because I know that I had my presentation immediately after it sounded like you all presented to staff, so I didn't really hear what the feeling was after they heard it all.
So as you know, with any change comes a little reluctance and a little apprehension.
Sure.
You're going to probably get your 80% that are on board and your 20% that are going to be the naysayers. That's what I've experienced since the meeting. I have very hard no's, but again, we're looking for the benefit of all and not for the benefit of a few.
I would add that meeting on Tuesday with all staff was the first time they were introduced to Schuster. So for a lot of them, it was it's new information. They haven't really been looking at the 457. They don't know much about it in some cases. In other cases, employees have been in it a long time, so they do understand it. I think when they saw that it's going to be less fees, better funds, and better interest rates, that they liked all those three things. As a follow-up to that Tuesday all-hands meeting, we'll be having smaller group meetings to explain the process and the program moving forward in more detail.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one question. So it says in the report that we're looking at a reduction of about 93% in cost to plan participants. What does that equate to?
I'm going to defer to Joanne, who's on Zoom. She can speak more directly to that, but what I understand is based on the fees that we have in the current fund, we would be saving, where is it?
Like I heard about 80,000 per year.
Yeah.
It went from
So-
90 something to 12 or 14,000 per year, as I recall,
Yes.
for the bulk of the program.
Yeah, but that's for the whole program and everybody participating in it.
That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah, so individually, it would vary depending on how much they have in their 457s.
Correct.
Are there any more questions on this item? Can I get a motion? To request approve and authorize the general manager to execute professional services agreement with Schuster Advisory Group, LLC for defined contribution plan, consulting and investment fiduciary services, and then, can we do this all in one? Yes. Okay, and then secondly, to approve the consolidation of the 457B and the 401A record-keeping services to a single provider, Mission Square. And third, authorize the general manager to execute the necessary service provider agreements related to this administration of this defined contribution plans. And fourth, appoint the human resources and risk manager as the contract administrator for this district's 457 and 401A defined contribution plans.
And
I
if
motion that.
If I can add, it could either be the HR or the CFO.
Can you repeat all that?
Can you be so moved as modified?
That for item 4? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, I motion that we accept the recommendation as amended and as suggested by the staff.
I'll second that.
Board Secretary, let's call for a vote.
Sure. Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. like our Director of Engineering will be presenting.
Yeah, Rocky, you can take us through the professional services agreement, please.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Here today to present a professional services agreement and task order to provide groundwater modeling, review, and support services in conjunction with the Rialto Colton groundwater basin. Linda gave a great presentation of a lot of the background and the need for this effort, so I'll spare you guys listening to me drone on about the background. But to address the concerns that the county has, Valley District has, I think, correctly identified that an adaptive management plan will be an effective tool to engage county flood control to move them towards a yes in providing supplemental recharge in the Cactus Basins. This process and any conjunctive use project has different competing priorities. And these convicting priorities result in the need for rigorous engineering and technical analysis. And in this case, it's related to groundwater modeling. Groundwater basins act differently than I think we'd expect, and it all hinges on underlying ground conditions, fault lines, sediment layers. There's a lot of technical work and a lot of academic study that has identified the need for detailed analysis. The Cactus Basin tag includes this modeling subgroup, and to represent the RBGC, Rialto Basin Groundwater Council, combined with our shared interests, felt that we would have one representative voice at the table. The district and RBGC prepared an RFP solicit services from an experienced groundwater modeling expert, Thomas Harder and Company. Thomas Harder has experience within this basin, working for several of our other sister agencies on similar tasks, and our other agencies have expressed satisfaction with the results and the technical aptitude of Thomas Harder. The proposed services are essentially for Thomas Harder or the selected consultant to be our eyes and ears in the Cactus Basin Tag modeling committee. The proposal that we received from Thomas Harder and Company was to participate in all of the Cactus Tag meetings and workshops, provide technical recommendations to the San Bernardino Basin area and Rialto Colton Basin groundwater steering committees, report out of the Cactus Basin Tag committees to all of the RBGC members, to perform independent modeling verification, to hold as-needed meetings with each of the RBGC members, and then overall project management. The RBGC tag, which is made up of staff members from each of the RBGC entities, reviewed the proposal from Thomas Harder and feels that it meets the needs and requirements of the RFP that was prepared. If approved today, West Valley would act as the contractual manager for the Thomas Harder contract and would seek reimbursement from each of the other RBGC entities, very similar to how we work with the Stetson Engineering on the groundwater management plan development that Director Young mentioned earlier during Linda's presentation. If the proposed services are awarded today, they would amount to a total contract amount of $122,958, which would be split between each of the 4 RBGC member agencies. Our share would be $30,739.50. And I want to make one note that we're going to change from the staff report on the financial impact of this section. We would likely keep this item assigned to the administration budget and not do a budget transfer from the to the engineering operating budget. And with that, staff is asking that the board authorize entering into a professional services agreement and task order with Thomas Harder and Company after receiving concurrence from the other RBGC members that they will satisfy their obligations, that same $30,000. And then authorize the general manager to execute all necessary documents and agreements with Thomas Harder and the other RBGC entities to perform this work. And with that, I would be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? No questions?
Mr. President, I'll make the motion that we adopt the professional services agreement and task order item number 3 as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Can we call for a vote?
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Our general manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. Got this next item, which is largely for board discussion. And I guess from my perspective, there's been some interest by some board members to explore the possibility of moving our board meetings, our regular board meetings, up from 6 to 5 or perhaps even 4 or something else. I think in the past our meetings were at 2 or perhaps 3 o'clock, and they were subsequently moved to 6. So this item has been prepared as a discussion item really by the board to discuss the regular board meeting times, past and current reasons for setting those times, and the various pros and cons of moving the time up from 6. And I think maybe before opening up to discussion, I would just add that staff has not come to me and really asked that we meet earlier. You know, I suppose it would be more convenient for some, but simply we're not here for our convenience. We're here to serve our customers, and here to serve our customers effectively when and where that needs to happen, and serve our board of directors. So I think with that, I'll open it up for discussion, and ultimately we're looking for some direction on whether you would like to see our regular board meeting times changed.
Okay, floor is open.
Are there any upsides for the board in changing this time? As board members, for us as a whole?
I think that putting the time to an earlier time will allow the public to be able to come here and not be here so late, and being able to open it up also to staff. Although I know that it hasn't been brought up, John mentioned that statement that it hasn't been brought up to staff, but I think that having it at an earlier time would be more feasible.
And I didn't understand, I mean, I don't know the history of why we're at this time, but I do know that it used to be earlier in the day. And I think most of our agencies around here kind of go a little earlier. I know that San Bernardino is at 2, and it seems to work for them. I know that City Council in Fontana is at 2. And the people do participate by Zoom if they need to participate. As you can see, at 6 o'clock now, we don't have an overwhelming response or audience there. But I think if we can start earlier, we can not be here too late at night and still get some things done that we need to get done. That's my concern.
Would making it earlier more difficult for working individuals?
Yes, I can answer that. I've mentioned this in the board before. I've talked to Vice President Garcia. I cannot make it. I work for Kaiser Permanente, and I have a set shift. And sometimes I have patients on the table, and I just can't walk away from my responsibilities. So it would be a hardship for me to try to make it any earlier than we do now.
To answer your question, it would not impact my everyday. It's twice a month. And I would modify my schedule.
And if I could just add that while I'm in between jobs at the moment, it may not be as effective, but certainly having an earlier time would be probably detrimental to future employment. At least right now, I can say to a prospective employer that my meetings are in the evening and will not interfere with day-to-day operations of a normal 9-to-5 job. But I can't say that if we're meeting earlier. So honestly, a change could really hurt my job prospects. And I fully plan to get a regular job again and be working again, and most likely won't be able to be here at those times. Now, I would maybe add some of the history. Yes, we used to meet at 2 o'clock. And when I first ran for the board, one of my things that I ran on, and back then I was elected at large, so I ran in the whole district. I was out walking door to door. One of my main planks was moving the board meetings to 6 o'clock so that people could actually attend. Because doing it at 2 o'clock, no one could attend. And yes, we are blessed that we don't have a huge number of people in the audience today. That's, I think, more of a statement of the good work we've been doing here. But the idea was always to move it to 6 o'clock to make it more accessible to the everyday folks, especially in a town that is made up of a lot of people who commute. Now, granted, with post-COVID, maybe they're not commuting as much, but a lot of people still have gone back to work after COVID and do not have the benefit of being able to adjust their schedule or Zoom all the time. So I'm still more in favor of keeping it where it is because we need to be more accessible to the people. And we moved it to 6 o'clock in an effort of transparency. And honestly, I would see us going backwards if we were to change that.
I've been on the board for 3 years, and I've never seen this place with anybody from the public, but only on days of when we're doing the calendar days.
And you are very blessed because I have seen this entire room full before.
Yeah, but that was the past. Now we're looking
Well,
at today.
but again, that is a testament to the good work that this board and all the staff have been doing, that people do not feel like they have to be here, but we still want to make it available so that they could be here. What are you going to say to someone who works till 5 o'clock? Sorry, you can't participate. I mean, that's just the reality. That's what the message says. Now, I know Valley District meets at 2 o'clock, but part of the rationale there, from what I've been told by past directors, is so that they can then attend our meetings in the evening. That's why they do it earlier in the day.
I don't see anybody from Valley attending our meetings, so.
Well, I see one. But we have had them here in the past. When Director Hayes was on the board.
She did it through Zoom.
Well, and she did it in person before Zoom. She was here every meeting.
And she didn't work either, so she could have came at any time. So is there any cost or financial impacts to moving it to 4 o'clock?
You know,
Negative financial impacts.
Yeah, talk about financial impacts a little bit. I guess I'm typically looking at around the room at people that are usually here. Most everybody here are exempt from overtime. So I would say for those individuals, there's going to be no change from a financial standpoint. Albert's usually here. He is exempt from overtime. Yeah, as a supervisor. And Robert is here tonight, but he is not exempt from overtime. So and Elva is not exempt from overtime, correct? So there is some.
Would they shift adjust then?
They could. Are you on overtime right now, for example? Probably. I mean, you get regular job plus assisting with the. This is a bit of a unique time. We appreciate. Thank you again for that.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be some financial impacts, but I think pretty minor, or could be minimized from 1 or 2 people that typically come to the board meetings that are not exempt from overtime.
It seems like we have some in favor and some in opposition. Could we meet in the middle and change it by a half hour?
For example, 5:30.
Yes.
You mean 5 o'clock? Because 4 o'clock is on there.
Well, I'm definitely opposed to 4 o'clock, so that's not a discussion. So I would be supportive of meeting in the middle between 5 and 6.
I support 5.
I don't.
Support 5?
No.
And what is your rationale?
I think 6 o'clock, city council meets at 6, school board meets at 6, and following in the other board.
Fontana's city council meets at 2.
Yeah, I'm speaking of Rialto.
Well, I also serve Fontana.
Um,
We're not meeting in the middle.
Well, it'd be nice if board members actually had deference to their colleagues on this one, because you're literally going to put in a situation where 2 of us could potentially not be able to participate because of our work schedules.
I'm very mindful of your situation, but you do come to committee meetings at 5 o'clock.
Yes, that has been a hardship, but I've done it. Additionally, I don't have the leeway, like as a state employee, to be able to say I can change things. I have a particular career.
No, actually, I actually will be taking the day off if we were to start at 4.
Oh, what I was about to finish is I have a particular career that affects people's lives, and I can't commit to that.
And Greg has the time, so I think he's just, you want to table it? Or what do you want to do?
You can go forward anyway, and just brought up, it's on the table. There's a motion. Just do a vote. No? If it doesn't fly, it doesn't fly. So.
So there is an ordinance on the agenda, and it's been noticed in advance that it could be changed to 4 or 5. If the ordinance passes, it changes. If it doesn't pass, stays the same.
Yep.
But you'd have to pick for your motion either 4 or 5.
Can I make a motion that we just table this item?
Well, I'll make an amended motion to,
Well, we need a second to table the item.
I second the motion.
Table the item.
Vote.
And I'm sorry, to table the item to a particular date, or
Indefinitely, until something changes one way or another.
somebody brings it back?
If I hit the Powerball and I don't have to work, maybe we can talk. But like I said, nothing's going to probably change in the near future.
So there's a motion on the floor to table this item, and you can have a motion to table the item to a particular time and date in the future, or if you don't put any particular date and time in the future, as you know, then someone would have to bring it back.
Correct.
To vote to then bring it back to the board at that point.
Correct.
So, okay. So there's a motion on the table motion pending to table the item to an indefinite period of time.
And I second that motion.
Yes.
Let's have a vote. Call the vote.
So, Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
no.
President Moore.
No.
So 3-2.
So the motion passes, and if you wish to bring it back at a future meeting, we'd have to have it come back to discuss putting it back on the agenda. So it's not just putting it back on the agenda.
Okay.
And if it would come back, we would need to be specific on the potential times, like a 5:30. If
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard tonight, it had to be specific. Okay.
Okay. All right.
President Moore, should we go with
Yes.
number 5, Federal Advocacy 2026?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, President Moore, members of the board, directors. This evening, the item before the board concerns the logistics of the Washington, D.C. advocacy efforts. For the purpose of obtaining the board's guidance and direction on the preferred course of action, the item was previously reviewed by the External Affairs Committee on November 24th. To further inform the board and assist in providing direction to staff, Jamie Jones from David Church and Associates will present additional information related to this item.
Do you want me to start now?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, so I've communicated with Socorro and her team over the years. The Aqua Conference in February, usually the tail end of February. And you do the Aqua, some members do Aqua, and we shuffle around and
Mr.
also
Jones?
do congressional.
Mr.
We also
Jones?
do congressional and agency meetings. And, you know, that has proven successful over the years. I just spoke with, you know, I sort of offered the issue that there are different options that you may want to consider. As a general rule, my experience is that when you have a lot of water agencies at the same time, sometimes get you know, it's maybe it may serve your interest to try and come out at different times, try and shuffle that around a bit, where you may come out a little before. For instance, in next year, the Aqua is from February 24th through February 26th. The Congress is in session. The House is in session on February 23rd, 24th, and 25th. You know, again, you know, usually we have a number of meetings, and I think, at least from my vantage point, it seems like it could be difficult for some of the members to participate in Aqua as well as all the other meetings that take place. The bottom line is you have options. You can come out earlier, but obviously you would have to come out while the House is in session. And for 2026 in February, you could come out the second or the first week in February, the second week in February, the third week. The House is out of session. Obviously, the week of the 23rd is when Aqua's in town, and then you could come out in the beginning of March or the third week in March. But the issue here is it's important to make the pitch directly to your members of Congress regarding the earmark request, or what members of the House call community project funding request. And that's something that we would really want to do in February or early, no later than mid-March. And you have been successful at doing that while you've been coming to the Aqua Conference, and you've been able to manage with all the board members to be able to do all the types of different meetings that is required, both attending Aqua, some members attending Aqua, and other members attending congressional and agency meetings. I just wanted to sort of put out that there are options on this. You could, depending on the availability of the board members and the interest of the board members, to either, if you find value in Aqua, to come out for Aqua, and we do the Aqua meeting. You could do the Aqua Conference, and then we focus on the congressional side, where we make the pitch directly to members of Congress for your project request, or you could do just the Aqua Conference and have an earlier or trip to DC where it's focused purely on the district's agenda, the federal agenda, particularly regarding the earmark. The issue for us, the primary concern is that you come out early in the year for the earmark process, because that whole process is front-loaded. We have to submit, we have to sort of work with you, your staff. You identify, we take direction from you regarding the projects that you want to move forward. And then those are the projects that we push directly with members of Congress, and they want to hear directly from you. So that it's very important to have that connection early in the process. And if you continue to do it with Aqua, that works. I mean, that has worked in the past. At the same time, you have other options depending on the availability and interest of your board members. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions. The reality is, the only concern, it's not even a concern, it's usually the advice we give to folks is, for instance, as an example, when the National League of Cities comes out, you've got a couple, 12, you've got 1,000 or 1,200 council members all doing the same thing at the same time. We have some council cities that come out during that time because it's the only time that they want to come out or can come out. And then obviously we manage their schedule in an appropriate way that advances their agenda. And that's what we've been doing with the district as far as the Aqua Conference. And I just wanted to throw out that there are other options depending on the interest and availability of your board members.
Thank you, Jamie. May I, President?
Okay, I'm more than happy to answer questions you may have regarding that.
Any questions?
Don't have a question, but I did want to maybe throw out a suggestion. I think there's a lot of possibilities here, and we can discuss each one because I think you kind of have to go through a process of, okay, are we going to do this? Okay, if so, then this. This might actually make a great workshop, honestly, because there are so many different facets that we would probably need to discuss, especially if we are looking to change the way which we do it. We can do it tonight, but I just wanted to throw that out there as a possibility because don't want to keep the night rolling along. But it seems like we have the way which we've done it, which has been successful. But if we want to look at changing it, I think there's a lot of individual points that we're going to need to discuss separately in order to move on to other aspects. So again, I'm just suggesting that this could possibly be a good workshop.
So, may I, President?
Yeah.
So when Jamie brought this up as a recommendation during our external affairs meeting, we thought that at the time it sounded like a great idea, and I actually agree with him because, when we went to our legislations first in Sacramento, and it was just 2 board members, there was more efficiency when we were having our meetings, and it allowed for board members who didn't have an opportunity to speak in the past to now have a voice to represent the district. Now, when we've gone in the past for legislation in DC, we registered for Aqua, paid the fees, but then there were times where we had to leave Aqua so that we can go to meetings, and at times it wasn't effective because we had 5 board members there and not everybody had an opportunity to speak. It was just 1 or 2 individuals doing all the speaking. And so what I wanted to do is bring it for discussion today, because if there's board members who are already registered to Aqua, I think they should attend Aqua and only focus on Aqua, because I think the registration is, how much is the registration, John?
$1,000.
So if we're gonna spend the money to go to registration and to go to Aqua, I think that the focus is to attend Aqua and not be in DC with 80 other agencies and not attend Aqua just because we have a meeting on that Tuesday or Monday. So I wanted to just have that discussion here of what are the options can we do so it could be effective and have less board members go. For example, have the board president or and another individual go and be more effective. That was the reason. And I know that if we were to have it on the same week, I just think that if you have signed up to Aqua, you should attend Aqua. And I know that it's not fair to pay for something and not be attending.
Well, I will say that I know in some of the years past, I didn't actually attend the conference, and I don't believe I was ever actually registered. I just simply went because I knew I was going to be in the meeting. So just point of clarification there that I often didn't actually register for the conference itself.
But I think, can we clarify who has registered for Aqua? Have you?
No.
I'm not sure if Elva
I would have that.
would know that,
I don't
but
think so.
I know that this year I have. But again, in years past, I didn't always register because I knew I'd be in meetings.
My last conversation with Paola, 4 of the board members are registered. Director said you're the only one not registered for the conference.
And when is the, do you guys know when is the last date to take yourself away from the registration?
So the deadline was 2/13? Is that the Aqua DC? Is that what you speak of?
February 13 would be the last day to get the refund.
Okay.
Yes, and we do have Greg, Dan, Kelvin, and Esteban at this point.
I won't be going.
You will not.
No.
So again, the point of the discussion today is that it's I feel that it's been ineffective in the past when we go to DC because not everybody speaks or is able to speak. Typically, there's one voice, and I think that and at times we're not always allowed to all enter because it's a full room with 5 board members, and then we have staff that also attend. So I've seen that it's been proven to be more effective when only 2 board members or 3 go and do the advocacy.
May I respond to a few of those points? First of all, the only time which we generally had all 5 board members was generally for our actual reps, like Pete or maybe the senator's office, because most of the time I couldn't get anyone other than Dan and I to even have any interest in coming to any meetings with us. And when often you all did come, I tried to give you pieces to talk about. Sometimes you would, sometimes you wouldn't. Now, to the larger question, I know that legal, I don't know if you want to chime in at this point, but I know you and I had some discussion after our last trip about how we really can't have 5 of us in there anyways moving forward. Now, you could, in theory, I suppose, have the other 3 wait out in the lobby or something and then could maybe take a picture later, but as far as being in the actual meeting, it can only be 2. So that point has already been clarified.
So then it's agreed upon then there should only be 2 board members going.
No, I did not say that. I just simply said as far as being in the room in the meeting, but it doesn't say that we can't continue to do the advocacy the way we have and doing it in concert with the Aqua Conference. So the question, I think, and like this is why I was suggesting maybe a workshop might actually be beneficial, is that I think there's a lot of different things we have to unpack, okay? Do we want to have 2 meetings? Okay, great. When are we doing those? And then we have to have a discussion about that. Then we got to look at the calendar. To me, there's a whole decision tree that's going to follow each thing here, and we can go through it all tonight if you want, but I do have questions and concerns depending on if you choose option A or option B, because they all have pros and cons. I am not opposed to the idea of having multiple trips, but I am concerned because we've actually tried it in the past and it failed both times. We had to cancel the second meeting both times because of things that happened later in the congressional year. The one nice thing about doing it that early in the year is it's right before they open up their submission window so that you can submit our request. And it's before generally all the other things that tend to pop up throughout the years, like continuing resolution fights or appropriation fights or all who knows whatever happens. So in the past, we actually thought of this idea. We tried to implement it twice. Each time we had to cancel the second half of the year trip because our lobbyist is like, oh, so this and this happened, it's not a good time to come back, and we had to cancel. And so I'm not opposed to the conversation, Director Garcia, but I'm just saying that I think there's a lot to unpack here. And I'm perfectly happy to do it now if you want, but again, depending on what the board wants to do, I think there's pros and cons that need to be discussed at each level.
Okay.
So that's why I was suggesting maybe a workshop might be beneficial so we can just dig deep in this. Frankly, I would also love to have David on the line as well as Jamie, because I think there's a lot to really consider especially if you're talking about doing a trip later in the year. One thing we got to keep in mind is this year is a midterm election year. The later we're talking about going back, the more chaotic things might be as far as trying to actually meet with anybody Because as we get closer to the election next year, the only thing they're going to be thinking about is getting, raising money and getting reelected. So I think it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that there's a lot to discuss here. So that's why I was suggesting humbly that we might want to consider this as a standalone workshop, because I think there's a lot that needs to be ironed out here.
Are you done?
Go ahead.
Are you done?
Am I talking? No.
Okay.
We're gonna be having another meeting. Socorro, what day? What we're supposed to have another meeting in January to discuss the schedule. Is that correct?
So we were proposing that before the regular board meeting on January 15th, we would have a federal legislative meeting for the board to discuss while in DC.
So when you're asking for a different meeting for this, we were gonna already have it in January, because whatever message we're gonna be having in DC, it needs to be a unified message by the whole board.
And I'm fine with that if you want to have this be a part of that discussion.
it
I'm just
will.
simply saying
It
this is a
will.
lot to unpack here.
No, it is,
on
but-
top of everything else we've already talked about tonight.
But what I'm saying is, if we registered for Aqua DC, you should attend Aqua DC. And we shouldn't be going to meetings if you're at a conference. That was the whole point of today. And
excuse me, there's
Okay, I'm
nothing in
actually,
the
I'm not
item
done
which says
talking.
that.
Okay, so then another thing that we were saying is, if Jamie's proposing alternatives of when it would be more beneficial, that was something I wanted to just have as a discussion today, and we can move it to a workshop. But just be mindful that if you did register to Aqua, in my mind, that means that you're saying that you're not going to be going to any advocacy meetings or discussions with legislations because you're in Aqua.
Are you done? Okay, thank you. I would just say that I think it's up to any board member on what parts of the conference they plan to attend or not, because in years past, I don't think everyone went to every part of the conference in the years past. We have all picked and choose parts to go to, so it's not an all or nothing kind of thing. And look, there's nothing to say that not any of us could go to the conference and also step out to take a meeting. It's all, and that's always been one of the benefits of doing it in conjunction. You're killing two birds with one stone. You're going both to the conference, which we're all allowed to do under our rules, and also if you want to participate in these meetings with the leadership, you're able to do so. But it's always been up to each director. And I know in my time there, I never tried to force anything on anyway, if you want to go to the conference, great, have fun. If you want to join us in meetings, welcome. And that's the way it should be.
So have it part of the other meeting with
Yeah, let's put it. Let's
that.
have this further discussion in January, knowing that they have up to February 12th to. If they don't want to attend the conference, then at least they know when. But
And Jamie's still on the line, right?
Yeah, he is.
And Jamie, there's still a summer session, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
There's still a summer trip as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the calendar, the summer, you've got June and July, and then members, as Greg, as Director Young mentioned, the last week in July and all of August is out because of, this is sort of the typical agenda for Congress, especially during an election year. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can, yes, you can come out later as well. I mean, the issue for us, the focus really is the earmark issue, the community, what they call community project funding, and not really the focus. Really, we think it's important. I think it's my recommendation is that we make that hit early in the year because everything is so front loaded with the earmark process.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you cannot come out later. I mean, that's certainly up to you. There's always, there are different ways of structuring this, where you come out for AquaCon, you can do as we've been doing, which is Aqua and everything else, or you can do Aqua and the earmark stuff, and then do agencies at a later point. But all these things, depending on your availability and interest. And if it's the will of the board to continue as you've been operating, and you guys have done it for the last, since I've been doing it, since 8 years or so, 9 years, and you guys have been very busy. You know, there's a lot. You guys are constantly on the move.
And if I could maybe make a suggestion, Mr. President, for probably either Jamie and probably also Socorro. I know you guys gave us the house calendar, and I appreciate that, but I think for further discussion, maybe at this workshop, also get the dates of when each of our legislators are going to be opening up their submissions, when their submissions are due to the committees. And then I know you mentioned the League of Cities. If there's any big groups that you know of offhand, if we could also maybe have maybe like a master calendar that shows that, because again, I'm not opposed to the concept of doing separate trips or changing even when we go, but I think that things we have to take into consideration. So I think if we can get at least some of those bigger groups that we know that, okay, this is the week the League of Cities is, so we definitely don't want to ever try to go that week. Because again, like I said, like we've thought of this idea in the past. Again, we just found it really hard to execute with things that constantly change in DC. But I think if we can have some of those deadlines and groups as part of a calendar, that might be helpful as well.
Okay. Well, I know that last one time we went up, and I don't know which office was that. There was enough room for us. And the receptionist came out behind us and apologized.
Yes.
And but then we did some things last time, just two and a rep, Poga, and it worked out fine. The talking points were there, and it was very, very well engaged. So I think we might have to split, even if we go, all go split to a meeting, no more than two. And the talking point speaks for themselves, and we're giving the same message, because they do a really heck of a job on those. You can't miss anything. That's kind of what I'm going to be recommending later.
No, our staff has always done a bang-up job, Socorro and her team, on putting together the packets for us. So we've always had great material to go over.
And it was good to see, Esteban New presenting, and
yes, my model is when I'm starting off, do more listening and less talking. But this is my second year, so I'd like the opportunity to speak a little more.
Yep. You shall. Okay.
Sounds like we'll get more information and come back on January 15th for a workshop. Is that kind of the direction I heard?
Oh, Mr. President, can I just maybe add one more thing? Jamie, it's really good to see you on the video. I know that we've talked on the phone, but it's good to see your face, sir. I hope you're doing well.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jamie.
Thank you.
President
Thank you,
Moore?
guys.
So was there going to be a motion or no motion or just direction?
There's no need for a motion on this.
Direction.
That's direction. Okay. Any more POGA updates? Oh, sorry. Oh, board committee reports, I'm sorry. Thank you, Angela.
I have committee reports. Director Garcia and I were on the Finance Committee. We received 2 presentations of the items that were on the business matters this evening, the financial audit for fiscal year 2024-2025, and we defined contribution plan, consulting, and investment fiduciary services from Schuster Advisory Group. And finally, we also received the monthly reports, which were on tonight's consent calendar. And my other committee, which was with Director Young, with his policy committee, the committee reviewed alternatives and provided feedback on proposed edits to the board policies and procedures as a follow-up to the board workshop. Staff will be incorporating our feedback and bringing the items back to our January meeting. Additionally, the committee has requested that our legal counsel attend the next meeting to assist in the discussion of some of the sections that's proposed alternatives. That's the end of my committee report.
Angela?
One of the committee reports that I attended was the Engineering Operations Committee, and I had the opportunity to hear Linda explain the model that was discussed again later today by Rocky. So it brought a full circle and clarity in the importance of having a model to follow the plume and see the impact that this additional water may have. So it was informative, and appreciate the information.
Mr. Young?
They all covered the committees I had, so
Okay,
thank you.
Cool. I had HR committee, and they had a presentation from Schuster Advisory Group on their proposed defined contribution plan. EPLI Insurance, Aqua, and JPIA are still reviewing the request to restart our employment liability insurance coverage. Okay. Does anyone have anything else to report on?
I'd just like to wish everyone here and everyone at home a wonderful and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know it's been a very difficult year for me in my own life, and especially with family and illnesses, and just very, very grateful for the time that we have with loved ones. So I just wish you all a wonderful holiday season. Thank you.
I'd like to wish a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to the staff and to my fellow board members, and to those people who need the love of this season, and for the difficult times they may be about. And I also wish to extend good tidings to my board members during this season when we'll be off, and that I'll be thinking of you as well.
Angela?
Since the last board meeting, I do want to report some meetings that I did attend. I attended the Fontana Chamber of Commerce, which was a very nice treat. Attended the parade. That was very fun. We had Hallie out there on the float, which was really cool, and got a lot of the kids involved, and that was really nice. Attended the IE Works board meeting on the 15th, and then I attended the Supervisor Armendariz Christmas Jingo and Mingo for the Boys and Girls Club. And this Saturday we'll be doing the Fontana Santas at the Fontana Unified School District. And also want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.
I want to thank you guys for a wonderful holiday retreat this year. Hats off to you guys for pulling that off. We enjoyed ourselves. Also did the Merry holiday toy drive. I don't know which toy drive that was. Oh, that was Eloise Reyes. Did BIA with the elected officials from the Empire, and that was a wonderful event as well. Fontana Chamber did that for Christmas. And I did the San Bernardino Valley Water District as well. And Jose, I'll be talking to you about that, board member to board member. And then, what else? I think that's it. And this weekend, Fontana Santa's coming up, so I'll be there as well. And that's it. Have a Merry Christmas. Be blessed. And think about the ones that are homeless out on the streets, the ones that are hungry, and the ones that... Okay, that's all I have.
I think all the external events were already covered, but just to add to it, agency I worked for, we participated in Angel Tree, and we were assigned 100 children, and we delivered 200 gifts, and a week before Christmas. So happy holidays for all.
Okay. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to point out we have the next quarterly report for you tonight. And thanks especially to the POGA team for putting this together. And we're displaying some of our most recent accomplishments. Also have updates on staffing and recruitments. For accountant, we are revising an existing job description for senior accountant. This will be going to the next HR committee and then to the board for approval in January. Customer service supervisor, this is advertising. That posting closes next week. For the POGA intern, interviews were completed earlier this week, and we've extended an offer to one of those persons and waiting to hear back. For that 1,000-hour field assistance, we have interviews scheduled with 16 applicants. We'll be picking 2 out of that group, so looking great. GIS technician, that recruitment will be posting any day now, tomorrow, or early next week. That'll go out. And board secretary, we've talked about, we're revising the job description. Going to be selecting a recruiter to begin that recruitment in early to mid-January, and also working to bring some temporary assistance to the admin department in early January as well. And next for me, with the Prop 218 behind us, my priorities coming up are working with staff to finish the assessment of the 2025 work plan goals, developing some new goals for 2026, kind of bringing some of those ideas into the committee meetings, and ultimately coming to the board with reporting out on the 2025 goals and presenting some of the new goals for 2026. Looks like, just looking at the schedule, that's probably going to be the first meeting in February. And also continuing to work on alternatives, updates, and potential changes to the board policies and procedures based on direction provided at the board workshop a while back, and also based on feedback from policy committee. And I think we might want to schedule a workshop on that later in January as well. We'll talk about that maybe next time we meet. And then working as a team to advance the headquarters facilities project. We'll be developing RFP and RFQs for both the owner's agent and for the progressive design build team.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the top priorities. I've got some time coming off. I sent the board an email relative to that. And I again wanted to extend thanks to the board on behalf of all of our staff for the holiday closure, allowing more of our staff to spend time with their families over the holidays. So thank you again for that. And with that, wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Yes, Mr. President, I wanted to mention SB 827, which will go into effect first of the year. As you know, as board members, you're required to take AB 1234 training, ethics training every 2 years. This new law will add some additional obligations to that AB 1234 training. So in the future, if there's a new board member coming on the board for the first time, the law used to say you had a year to get that first AB 1234 training done. Now it's required to be done in the first 6 months. But the other big part of this bill or this law is it expands the AB 1234 training obligation to department heads and management staff of the district. So that applies to the GM, the AGM, deputy general managers, department heads. And existing staff will have to take AB 1234 training if you haven't done it already, within the first year of this law going into effect. So the department heads and management have until January 1, 2027 to complete their first 1234 training, and then it's every 2 years after that. But also, this bill adds some new training for finances, for dealing with actual financial issues. And so aside from AB 1234 ethics, 2 hours, board members and management staff will have to complete financial training for 2 hours in addition. And so this will apply to boards of directors and staff that make decisions or recommendations regarding the financial administration, budgeting, or use of public resources. So that would commonly be general manager, AGM, deputy GM, department heads that come up with budget recommendations. That's commonly the level that would have to take it. So in 2026, department heads and management staff will have to take AB 1234, and this new requirement for the financial training that applies to board members and staff, that's not required to be completed your first round until January 1, 2028. So you got some time to do that financial training part. Part of that is time for the state to come up with, state organizations, ACWA, League of California Cities, to come up with the training materials. The law anticipates that financial advisors, financial firms that cater to public agencies will help put together that curriculum. And they have certain things that need to be addressed in that. So that's a new requirement going into 2026, and the financial training to be done by the end of 2028. So that's how, and our firm, of course, does AB 1234 training, and will certainly help with our clients define the financial training. But it can all be done online as well, so it's not a matter of having to be present for those. So that's all I have, Mr. President.
Yeah, I was at a meeting at December, when they talked about it about 2 months ago? Yeah, having that additional training. Okay, anything from POGA? Ms. Sikora.
Good evening, President Moore, board members, and members of the public. This evening, I would like to share a video regarding an employee-sponsored program, the Angel Tree.
Hi, my name is Heidi Harper.
And I'm Fernanda Gonzalez.
And we're here to give you insight on our employee-led Angel Tree Gifting Program.
This program seeks to connect with McKinney-Vento and foster youth programs within the Rialto and Colton Joint Unified School District. Helps to provide clothes, shoes, and toys for family and children within our service area.
Led by the West Valley Water District staff since 2017, this marks our 8th year our staff has participated in this program. We, the employees of West Valley Water District, are proud of this tradition, and we look forward to carrying on this tradition for years to come.
Happy holidays!
And then I also wanted to share a recap of the 2025 year here at West Valley Water District, filled with a lot of good things, a lot of successes. So, Robert, can you play that video, please? We are looking forward to next year and being able to celebrate the Romer ribbon cutting.
One more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Don't stop the dancing. One more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Don't stop the dancing. One more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Don't stop the dancing.
Nice.
We'll be sharing this video on social media right before the end of 2025. I also want to let the board know and the public that our 2026 calendars are now available. So they're available to pick up during business hours, and we'll be sharing them throughout the community as well.
Great job and congratulations on the awards that POGA's won this year. The one that we won at Aqua and the one we won before that. You guys deserve all the praise for that. That was good work. Is that it? Board Secretary?
Yes, thank you. Roberto, do we have the calendar? Okay, that's December. Okay, so we're getting ready to wrap up 2025. We have the Fontana Santas this Saturday, December 20th, and our last External Affairs Committee meeting on Monday. So what are we on the 22nd? That will lead us into the holiday closure, and our first meeting of the year will be the Safety and Tech on January 5th. The rest of the month, our committee meetings are scheduled as normal. Policy Committee was moved to the 14th. Oh, yeah. Oh, it doesn't
January?
move?
Does it move? Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so the rest of the month, let's see, the Policy Committee was moved to the 14th to allow our legal counsel to be present. And as a reminder, we will be closed on the 19th for Martin Luther King holiday. And Paula will be in touch with all of you about the upcoming trips to Sacramento and DC. And that's all I have. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to all.
Alva?
Yes.
What day did we say, Socorro, that we were going to have the workshop?
The 14th.
We wanted to propose the January 15th, an hour before the regular scheduled board meeting.
We can't do that. Dan's not available.
We can work with Paula to look at your availability.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments? Just want to say once again, Jeffrey, thank you for this year. I've got to say, I really appreciate you. You have done some great work here, and I'm just thank you for that. Jamie, thank you for your support and leadership up in DC. We appreciate you, and thank you for your team in Sacramento. It's been a year, but thank you for your consistency and your drive. Everyone else, thank you very much and have a great Christmas. We'll see you.